Good morning, y'all. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. I'm here on the floor of the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, we had Morgan Stanley's results out this morning. What are you thinking?
You know, I didn't do a good job on this. I know that December was tough. Somehow I felt that their mosaic of business would make it so that they wouldn't report as disappointing numbers they did, and I got that wrong. I'm a little flummoxed because I like Morgan Stanley for its lack of cyclicality. When I say that, I mean I think that what I'm looking for is a company that has consistently good earnings. I always understood that Goldman could have some up and downs, but Morgan Stanley had gotten away from that, and it turned out that they didn't as much as I thought. So it was not what I expected. It was disappointing. They'll continue to buy back stock. The franchise is worth a lot. But I go back to Action Alerts, name Goldman. Goldman's better. Plain and simple.
So Jack Bogle passed away last night, and I know you've been tweeting about this, but I want to talk a little bit more about this. For those who don't know, I mean, obviously he was the creator of the index fund, and what does that mean?
Well, we're going to talk about him on our conference call at 11:30, the club call. What he did, he believed very strongly that you couldn't beat the market. Okay, that was principle number one. So why not own the market? So he created something that allowed you to own it, the S&P 500 index fund. And then he also believed that if you want to be able to make money longer term, you can't have high fees. If you have high fees, it's no go. So he made it so that they didn't have high fees. So as you can imagine, this was direct assault on what most of our business is about. And most of the people are about fees or hidden fees or fees that make it so that you don't perform as much. And bingo, you know, he tried to bust that, and a lot of people are praising him today. And I want people to understand, he was not about Wall Street. He was about Philadelphia, which was not Wall Street. And he was an iconoclast that would have, if everybody listened to him, this business wouldn't exist. The fee business, Wall Street, because he always said that it was not possible to beat the market. On the conference call, I'm going to actually talk about his interaction with me about that when I was a hedge fund manager. It was very, very good. One of the things that I left out when we were talking about it on Squawk on the Street is that he thought that I was saying that everybody could be an NBA player and that wasn't right. And I said, well, look, I want my first, don't worry, the first 10,000 have to be in an index fund. I've been saying that. A lot of the critics of me just totally disregard that. And what I've been saying, and the reason why I call the show Mad Money, is because, look, after you put the regular money away, here's some mad money to own some stocks, because I think that there are a lot of people who feel that owning stocks is exciting. They want to do it. So why not teach them how to do it? And that he agreed with me. You know, one of the things the main thing he agreed with me on was, okay, people are still going to want to own stocks, at least help them. And that's why he liked TheStreet. That's why I like TheStreet.com. And Pixie is a good man. My father used to go to Vanguard all the time. Yeah, Jeff Marks worked at Vanguard, and he showed me a picture of him with Jack. They had a meeting, talked about that on the conference call. And I don't know, Jack was different. Yeah, Jack had a heart transplant, and he was always very grateful that he was alive. He was very grateful to the family of the fellow who died to give him the heart. They were very grateful to him because they felt that he lived, that the deceased lived on through him. And, there was just something about him where you uniquely understood that he had a second chance in life, and he carried himself very lightly. And it was pure joy. Jack, I mean, it's funny. It's so hard to even speak of him as passed away, because he's just this man who stood for all the things I stand for.
A
democratization. Legend. Yeah, legend. And I am glad that he embraced my view without a lot of the index people refuse to even acknowledge, or they hate what I do. There's some guy at Yale who just thinks that I'm like the personification of evil, and enjoyed that Jon Stewart eviscerated me, whatever Jon Stewart did. And because I believe that people can pick stocks. And my view, as I said to Jack, was let's stop insulting the people who try to pick stocks and let's help them.
I was speaking to Margaret, our brand new COO, this morning, and she's seen the script for the call, and she was telling me about what you're going to say about Jack. And
I love
it was
Margaret.
so touching.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited.
Look, I mean, the first thing I did when I started was reach out to him, because he's such a hero, and You know, he was always like, we got along very, very well, to make that point. And by the way, Vanguard did not necessarily treat him that well. But we were philosophically different until no matter what, I just said, listen, first 10 index, I believe in it. Because he said, Jim, don't encourage people to believe they can be in the NBA. It's not right. And years later, I was teaching third graders in a Newark school. And I asked what people wanted to be, and everyone wanted to be in the NBA. And it reminded me of Jack saying, listen, don't encourage people to think they can be in the NBA. It's not right. The NBA being professional money management. And I want to save the rest for the call.
I'm excited. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that for the first time ever, anyone can watch this call.
Right. I mean, we've had the call closed. And
yeah, it's gated. So it means that you have to put in your email address, right. But you can find the link to that site on TheStreet's Twitter or TheStreet.com.
Well, I was talking to Margaret, because everything I do is open-handed, Margaret DeLuna, and I was saying to Margaret, I don't know why more people don't sign up, because if you want to see me mortify myself as opposed to a 10-year ago Jon Stewart, you should pay attention to what I say, because it's true about what I did wrong, not false.
All right, let's switch to Netflix, because tonight Netflix announces earnings.
Man, Netflix is going to take a lot. The call's not that hard. They do this like Q&A. The call's whimsical. It's quite fun. I don't like the fact that the world has said buy it ahead. But typically, if the world said buy it ahead, that means it's going to be good. It's kind of a wink and a nod. Up here, I have nothing. I can't offer. And we used to say when I was at my hedge fund, people said, what's your view on Netflix? And I'd say, it's irrelevant. I'm not good enough Netflix. And that's how I feel.
Okay, but they just announced a price hike earlier this week. What do you think about...
stock. That's the problem. I wish they had waited for the call. They should have waited for the call. But maybe that means that, if you think about the progression of news, would you say something that you knew would be really positive and then bag people after you said the positive? Probably not. And by the way, they're great people. So their culture's a very good culture. And I don't know if you ever use their customer service?
I don't think so.
The night before I interviewed Reed Hastings, I decided at 3 a.m., because I'm crazy, to call customer service. And I said, look, I need... So nutty. I need every movie that involves the Stalin's takeover of Berlin. I want every movie about, because there's so many movies about Stalingrad. I wanted everything that I could find. And this woman, and I don't remember her name, but I told it to Reed, said, well, what you probably want is Stalin's own directorial debut that he did about a movie about a Russian soldier going to Berlin.
Stalin has a movie?
Yeah. Stalin had done a movie. It was a terrible movie, by the way, because I immediately read it. But I'm just mentioning this is like, customer service was so spectacular. 3 a.m, and I told Reed about it on air, and he said, of course we're spectacular, that's what we do. And he was so funny. I said that I love Narcos because it reminded me of Scarface so much. It was, and he said, well, that's what the algorithm said. We knew that people love Scarface, so we did Pablo. And it was like, oh my God, he's so smart. So let's see what he says, but Reed Hastings is pure joy, and that interview was one of my favorite interviews ever because he came to play. He's a player.
And if you haven't already checked it out, Eric Jonza has a preview of the top 5. Yes, very good. And it's the top 5 things that he's looking at in the Netflix earnings report.
Johnson's crushing it right now.
And he'll be covering Netflix.
Yeah, I have been. Oh, he's going to blog? But when he blogs, it's really great. But Johnson's been crushing. You just go the index. I don't know, is our index any good? It's been a disappointment to me. I created the index, and when you put the name in, it's been a little disappointing. Maybe it's fixed, so to speak. But read Johnson's stuff because he's dynamite. I tweet all his stuff, so if you want to, just go through my folio.
Okay, let's talk about Taiwan semiconductors, because they're our stock of the day.
They suck.
Okay, but if they suck, why are they the stock of the day?
Well, no, I was going back over with Martin back and forth at 5 a.m. whenever we pick stock of the day, and it's just important for people to focus. Apple's moved up so much, and so that's an Apple story. I mean, it's a reflection on cell phones. What I'm trying to focus on is the watch. Okay, this Johnson & Johnson announcement of making this.
We're going to talk about that on AAP.
Yes, 33 million people, and now the other go on my Twitter feed and blast me for me saying that they should buy Epic, because the woman who runs Epic says it's never going to be sold, over my dead body, whatever. That's not the point. The point is that you need, and I don't want Apple to own my data. I want to own my data. If you really believed, like the CEO of Epic believes, that that we're democracy like Jack Bogle, and you should own your data, and then you should make a partnership or sell to Apple, because I trust Apple with all my data because they're the most trustworthy company in the world.
So, going back to Taiwan for a second, what is the short-term versus long-term there?
It's bad. Look, there's too much capacity in that group, and but look, there's a piece out today about Xilinx. Now, Xilinx is going up a ton. I would not buy Xilinx right here. But Xilinx is the 5G play. That's why you don't need the Taiwan 7. It's XLNX. Xilinx.
This morning, you put out your real money column on the shutdown and how it can affect the stock market.
Yeah,
now,
I'm starting to get worried.
I gotta say, Jim, this is the first time I've heard someone say anything about trimming the consumer-based stocks.
Yeah, this is the first time that look, it got too long. It's a month. And these people aren't living paycheck to paycheck. They're living paycheck to no paycheck. And the ripple effect is going to be big. We have to start factoring it in. Now, in my study of all the shutdowns that I did for my last book, Get Rich Carefully, there's never been one this long. So they've all been short enough that people got paid. So this is now worrisome, because you take out 800,000 people. It's a hurricane. That's what I say. It's a hurricane.
And it's going on nearly a month. Now, I want to read out the exact quote that really stuck with me.
Really?
And that is
I wrote?
that you wrote.
Not bad. Self-referential.
I think you have to continue to trim the shares of those companies that are related to the consumer and emphasize those that are related to secular growth trends.
Right. Well, this is when we sold Nordstrom is what I was thinking about, and go into Palo Alto Networks. I'm going to be talking on the conference call at 11:30 about this kind of thing. Look, the shutdown's starting to bother me. I mean, I really like Darden, but I would be trimming Darden here on the shutdown. I just think people aren't good. You're going to have some depressed numbers. The electricity numbers that I get for that region are down rather dramatically. Travel and leisure, I think the airlines are going to be affected. And I wanted to come around the airlines after United reported that good number, but this shutdown's lasting too long. So I regard the airlines as having a consumer component. So, look, should you buy McDonald's on it? I like McDonald's.
All right, Jim, we got to wrap up because I want to get you to your Action Alerts Plus call.
Let me just want to say, there are certain stocks that are so Teflon. Like you would say, you know what, I should sell Foot Locker, Nike. No, it's a secular growth story. It's going to work. That Nike just doesn't want to quit. Let's watch that. That's a sign that some people think the trade talks are going well.
We'll have to watch that. Okay, Jim, we got to go to our Action Alerts Plus call so that you can get back to the office and get ready.
I know. Oh, geez. I wore my nice suit for it.
Yeah, you did.
Look at this. It's 180 count. I got this as part of a 2-for-1 sale in Milan. Imagine
you were telling me about that the other day.
My 2-for-1 sale right before they destroyed all the Brionis. Every single season, at the end of the season, they burn the Brionis so that they're not in the system. I know, burn this kind of thing. My wife liked this one.
All right. Thanks for joining us, y'all. And just don't forget that you can go and watch Jim Cramer's exclusive Action Alerts Plus call.
Look, it's so embarrassing. You got to watch it.
Well, that's one reason to watch it. The other reason that I was thinking is that...
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
The other reason is that you're going to break down the top 10 reasons to watch out for a bear market.
Yes, what to do in a bear.
And the new bullpen name.
Yeah, we got a new bullpen that I think is just the one I want to buy.
It's
I thought the market would sell off today. I actually put that. I write the script, and then I write the script, and then I write the script. My wife this morning...
I was going to say, how's Lisa doing?
I woke Marley up. Marley is like an idiot. I was throwing treats at Marley yesterday. He missed every single one. He is just we were trying to figure out how stupid Marley really is versus Everest. But anyway, I woke the dog up. She says, "What are you doing up?" It was about 3. And she said, I said, "I got to work on the script." She goes, "You wrecked last night with the script." We stayed home. We had a nice piece of swordfish that she made. And I stayed home, and she went to bed, and I was still writing the script. And then I got up at 3. She goes, "You got to stop it." She goes, "Thank heavens it's only 12 times a year."
All right, guys. Remember to tune in. You can find the link at TheStreet.com or TheStreet's Twitter account. And just remember, it's gated, so all you need to do is enter that email address.
I also want to say, please go to the longshoreman because my wife's been working till 10 o'clock every night. She took the night off last night because she knew I wanted to have dinner and I couldn't go because of the darn script.
Aw, that's so
It's all right.
sweet.
You can't have so many Tospa, which is my mezcal of choice. You can only have so many Tospas and write a script.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So you don't,
all right, guys.
You don't drink the night before the script.
We'll see you guys next week.